2, check. Okay, trying to figure some things out. How is my volume? Hail. Just final steps. Whoa, I'm hearing myself. Why am I hearing myself on my MacBook? Oh wow, okay. Too many things open. Haven't done a live stream in a while. How is the quality of the stream? Just let's get that out of the way. And can I not see my stream? Okay, I'm getting into the zone. You let me know how the volume is. I have some musical things going on, just while we wait a little bit. If you have not seen, I've just published the project file on Patreon, so you can follow along there. You can join my Patreon. I will show everything here. I will also have separate tutorials probably about this thing and like many things that I'm gonna talk about, because there are things that that you can kind of isolate. Okay, can I edit the description with this also or not? I will just paste it a bunch of times, this link. Cool. How do I see how many people we have on? Yeah, I got it. Great. All right, let's wait a few more minutes because it's just hit 8. And in the meantime, I'm gonna just make some music for you. Enjoy some ambient goodness. For the new joiners, we're still just waiting for a bit. I'm making some music for you in the meantime. You can check out the Patreon link for the project file. Yeah, it's a good time to put on some rice in the cooker. The good thing about some of these ambient guitar pedals is that I don't have to do anything now. I play it and I'm done for a while, until I send out some links. Because the plan for today is that we will have some guests also on the show. Because I'm using POPX from MiniUV, who's already in the chat. I'm also using MediaPipe, so hopefully Torin will be able to make it. And also, who else? We will have Ethan from Matterform, hopefully also, who added or who created the motion blur component, which is a free one. And who else are we expecting? I also invited Lyle and Lake, Dotsimulate and Lake Heckaman. And also Joseph Peltz. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to make it, because he didn't respond. But we're gonna use T3D also today. So yeah, Ethan. Yeah, if you wanna chime in whenever, there's the Discord link or like Discord channel in my Discord stream voice. I think I just need to add you actually. Yeah. Okay. Whenever you feel like coming in and out. Yeah, I just invited you. Cool. We are 17. Let's give it a few more minutes. Let's get into it slowly. Now that we have tuned ourselves for some ambient goodness. I have my coffee, which I never drink, but today is different. I already had some Coca-Cola, so if my heart explodes, then yeah, then sorry about that. Hey Lyle. Yo, check. How's it going? It's okay. Wait, say something? Wait, I thought I should be able to hear you also on my stream. Because it's capturing my desktop audio, but it's not actually capturing my desktop audio, or at least Discord is, yeah, but people can't hear you. Just having Lyle on right now, trying to, yeah, I should have tested this, probably. Not on the stream, yeah. What if I play some... Yeah, shit. That's gonna be a problem for my plans. Let's see if we can hear some music if I play that. Yeah, YouTube comes through, so... Fucking Discord. Do you know a solution to this? not multi-streaming. Yeah, good question. Try now, say something. No. Okay, maybe we ditch this idea, and maybe next time we have the guests on. I fucked up. Shit. Anyway, I think I will get started and maybe get back to this later. Okay, so. Alright, I'm gonna get off from Discord. Hey everybody, now it's officially the start. Now that we lost like 7 viewers in the last 5 minutes. And I was trying to figure out what the fuck to do with my stream setup. Anyway, so yeah, welcome to the stream. We're gonna talk about Rise today. Rise to the max. There's gonna be a lot of rising going on. I just lost half of my screen, which is great. And we're gonna talk a lot about POPs and everything connected to Rise. To be honest, I'm not a Rise expert in the terms of it was just my first time cooking rice actually when I was making my reel, because I usually make wraps and shit like that with chili con carne. So yeah, but when it comes to rice in Touch Designer, I think I am now pretty much an authority on that. At least I hope to be, because yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to optimize this look. I mean, yeah, my goal was really just to have the most realistic looking rice possible in Touch Designer, and I think at one point I reached more realistic one, and now I went a little bit more CGI and more like somehow like a studio look, or like something that you might expect from a from maybe Blender to come out. So I don't know, I don't even know. You be the judge how good I did with this look. The way that I will do this is do a rundown of the project file, but everything is on Patreon and everything is pretty much commented and annotated. The things that are maybe not so straightforward, or there's like links of what is going on. For example, there's some techniques by Polyhop. But yeah, I would start with the rice itself. So first we need to have rice to have rice. And I created these 3 different states for the rice, just with pops. A little bit of modeling. The main thing that I had to take care of was that they each start with the same amount of frequency of detail, because we will be mixing between these. We will be mixing between these states, so to speak. So it means that whenever we go from cooking a rice or like a seedling state, because this starts from a seedling state, goes to an uncooked state of the rice, and then it will end up in a cooked state. And as you can see, they each have a different look and a bit of a different base color. So that's the main reason that we have these 3 ones. And here we just have a sphere, for example, for the seedling. I created a field so that I can twist and transform only the top part of this sphere. So kind of like take the sphere and just pull it from the top. So that's what I did here. Did some transformations. Yeah, different things to just make it look the way I want. I did a twist at the end, just until I was happy with what I had. And we will see this cooked attribute come back later, because this will determine the material of this rice grain, because in Touch Designer we cannot really mix between materials. So if you have a PBR and a Fong and you wanna have a cross material, or like a material switch, you can have the material switch, but you cannot really cross between them. So I had to come up with some trick to do this in post, and we will see in a second how I achieved that. But yeah, this will come back, that I added an attribute called cooked, which is 0 with the seedling, and also the uncooked state. This cooked is 0, but for the cooked rice, which is this more, yeah, I don't know, more noisy one, this has a cooked state of 1, and this will come back soon. Yeah, as far as the the rice grain goes, starting with a sphere like this, again just twisting, adding some noise so there's some more texture to it, and that's it. And the cooked state, I kind of overdid it in a way. I went a bit more ham in terms of trying to make it look even nicer and even more fat, because cooked rice is a little bit more fatter than uncooked rice. So here I just apply different transformations and noises to that. So at least now we have grains of rice, which is the perfect starting point for rice, obviously. And then we should talk about probably the pop particle system here. And before we get to the render passes and all that. I have a tutorial about particle pops on my YouTube, so there's not like many new things to talk about here. I created a base shape so that I start with like an interesting shape for my particles to spawn from, and this is what it is. In the end, it looks like a garbled mess, because it kind of is. But how it starts is the torus. I have like an interesting torus here that kind of twists around like this. If you look at the wireframe, and this is where we start from, and then add some more twists to it, and yeah, some more things. I don't know what this is. Yeah, but this is just a base shape. This is just to start with something for our particle system, because we don't want, I mean, we could start with like just a normal sphere as our particle source. But yeah, I went with this one. And then when it comes to the particle pop loop, yeah, there are many tutorials about particle pops. As I said, I also have one. I think Sarv, who is also in the call, he also has a particle pop tutorial, so you can check out different ones. We will come back to collision, because I have some collision that is triggered by MediaPipe and some chopsticks. We will cover that in a second. Hey Lake. We had to ditch the Discord idea, because yeah, I fucked up with my setup of the stream. So yeah, people cannot really hear my audience, or like my guests on Discord. So yeah. Yeah, but when it comes to the particle pop, as I said, here's the input. I just kind of randomized the input points. Go into the particle pop. We have 5,000 particles right now, and yeah, we kind of saturate it. There's life expectancy and life variance that, you know, up to taste. And what's really happening here right now is just some noise. Maybe I should swap, like do this, maybe. Panel, yeah. So we just have some noise for the particles to add some extra movement. This is the most basic particle pop setup you can imagine. We will have some more forces coming when we activate the interactivity. But yeah, this is so far straightforward. We still don't have rice here though on the left on the particles. These are just points. So now we've established that we have the rice grains separately as different states. We have our particle simulation, which is this output, and then we need to combine these. And the way that we will combine these in this case is using well, there's going to be some lookups, but I'm going to skip that for 1 second. We're going to be mixing the particles in different states using Polyhop's tutorial, which is the link is here. I'm going to also paste it in the chat so you can check it out afterwards. But basically, he has this tutorial where I might just open it up also and show it to you here. So yeah, in this tutorial, PolyHop shows us how to go from a sphere to a box or vice versa, using like a mix as we can see here. So we're gonna use this same technique to go between the different states of the rice in terms of geometry. So do check this out. It's also available on his Patreon, but he was nice enough for me to be able to include this in this project file. So yeah, when it comes to the mixing of particles, in comes the different states, in comes the particle pop, and our job right now is to, well, not our, but like the job here is to copy the geometries to the particle points. So these are all the different grains of seedlings, and then in this other copy we have the uncooked version of the rice geometry, and then we have the cooked version of the rice geometry. By the way, if you have any questions in the meantime, I'm watching the chat, so you can chime in at any time. So yeah, we have these 3 copies, and then I'm gonna maybe make this smaller. It's kind of a wasteful thing, by the way, to have these 3 copies. I hope we can come up with a way to optimize this, because it's taking, I mean, it's not like a crazy GPU or CPU cook time. The memory is, yeah, it's not inconsiderable. Almost 500 megabytes of GPU memory, so yeah, that could be better. So we have 3 of these, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. So for example, when we go from a seedling, or like let's go between a uncooked and the cooked state, we have this math mix, and this is what PolyHop Simon is saying in his tutorial. That basically we need to create a mix attribute for our pops, which I'm doing here, like with a lookup channel. I'm looking up a channel that looks like this. Can the GPU cook the rice? Yes, mine is like, yeah, I can feel it. It could, if it wanted to. So yeah, we're doing a lookup channel for the mix. So this is gonna look up the particle age based on the particle age. At one point we say like, okay, at half of the particle's age, or like kind of half of the particle's age, we want to go from an uncooked state to a cooked state. So it's gonna be looking up this chop channel based on the age of the particle. And it's important that we create a normalized age attribute. I think in one of my pop tutorials I am also talking about the normalized age attribute. I wish it was a default from the particle pop, because I think, yeah, you almost always want a normalized age, which just means that no matter how long or how long the lifetime of the particle is, you just get a number between 0 and 1 where it is at the moment. So at 0 it's gonna be born, and at 1 it's gonna die, because we know the lifespan of a particle and the current life time of a particle. We always know that because the particle pop gives that to us. So we have to create a normalized age, which I do somewhere. I think I have a particle lookups here. Yeah, after the particle system we have a little lookup thing, and I have here the particle normalized age, which is super simple. We take the particle age, which comes from the particle pop here, particle age, and the particle lifespan, which is the total lifespan of a single particle. And for each particle we can then calculate the normalized age. And we want to do that because we always are looking for numbers, for attributes that are between 0 and 1, because the mathematics is super easy and predictable if you're thinking between 0 and 1. Just if you think about an exponential curve, like a square curve will always be between 0 and 1, no matter what. So like, how should I? Yeah, an exponential, not even a square, but any exponential between 0 and 1, the output will be 0 and 1, between 0 and 1. So we need this normalized age, because it's also just easy to do lookups with that. So in this particle lookup, we do that. And back to our mixed particles, so we have the normalized age, and we look up this mix attribute based on the age. I'm gonna skip these. And then when we mix the two states together, so these are the different states of uncooked and cooked rice. When we do that, we just use this mix attribute that we just created and mix between the position attributes of the first input and the second input. Same with the normals, and same with the cooked and uncooked attribute. We are still not there where this comes into play, but we are mixing between the uncooked and the cooked attribute state also with this mix. And also the color. So we do that. Fuck, I'm stuck. We do that, and then we do the same thing also with the seedling. So we have another math mix here, which is the math mix grow, and it will also have its own lookup, which is this grow one. It's also just another channel lookup based on the normalized age, as we can see here. And we can see that for the first, let's say, fifth or like maybe less of the particle's lifetime, it's going to be seedling. It's going to grow into an uncooked state, and then after half of its lifetime it will go into a cooked state. And this is kind of what we are seeing if we have a look here. Is it goes from seedling, becomes this gray uncooked less shiny version of the rice grain, and then it finishes its life as this kind of more shiny and more detailed cooked rice with some steamy looks on it. And this is what this does. I also did like an extra little nicety here, where I added a little flash, and with a flash I'll show you what I mean. We can see it here that as it's getting into the cooked state, I have another attribute that's called flash, and this flash is just gonna add 0.4 to its color. So if I boost that, whenever they transition from an uncooked to a cooked state, they do little flash. And I keep this on the more subtle side. Oops, just so we have some extra poppiness of the visual. But this is also using the same technique as the mixing between attributes. In this case, I just mix between the color of the particles, basically. Nothing extra here. So I have this added color here, and based on the transition lookup, which again just happens in a super quick way whenever it's in this state, in this spot, I just add a little bit of a color to it. Ethan is saying it could be kind of fun if it random rotated when it transitioned between shape states. So yeah, for that I actually have that. Funny that you mention. I have a stage transition offset, and in this way you can kind of see that they do like a little extra like beep motion when they transition, and I can exaggerate this if I want a little bit more and make it more funky. For example, yeah, I can translate them a bit more, and they kind of more pop into their state. I also have some rotation on and stuff, so yeah, this makes it a little bit more dynamic. Like that also. That's also kind of cool that they go from seedling state, they are kind of offset in the seedling state, they come back into the middle, and then they pop out again as they get cooked. So yeah, that's a good idea. And Pakata was saying, Mini was saying, why not do the morphing between states to single rise and then maybe copy it. Might be less memory. I'm not sure if that's possible, because I want for each rise to have their own state. So if I did the morphing in a single rise, then after I copy it, all of them would have the same state. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's, I think, how it would work. Yeah, maybe I'm wrong there, but yeah, if the incoming rise, this is already morphing, then if I copy it, then everything will be having the same thing. So yeah, I don't think that works, kind of. Okay, so that's the mixing, and that's a really great technique by Polyhop. Just as a side quest here, or like a mention, instead of this mix attribute thing, I was thinking I could use the blend pop, which seems to be exactly for this purpose. Because I could say, okay, I want uncooked and the cooked point attribute scope. Okay, I want just for the point, let's say just for the color now. Blend type, I want blend differencing, I think. And I need to map something that for each particle it sets this blend input slider, because that's what mapping is doing in POPs. It's kind of a new thing in Touch Designer, where you can when you can map attributes to virtual sliders, let's say, if it's available. So we have our input 3 input in 2 mix. I think that should maybe work, maybe not. In 1 mix. How does this work? I always forget. OP, I know, I just need to say OP in 2 or in 3. In 2. Wait, I'm doing something wrong. I can just reference this. Yeah, that will work. Okay, so here we have the mix, great. And I want to target the parameter, which is the blend input. I'm not sure why all those are there. Maybe I want to blend 1. Anyway, so I think this is doing it actually. So we take our lookup channel, which has the attribute mix, and then we map it to the parameter that is the weight. So basically this parameter, which is now not available. Let's see if we remove this again. Am I doing something wrong here? Probably yes. Okay, never mind. I was able to kind of get it working with the blend pop, but it was consuming much more GPU cook time than the math mix, which is kind of unfortunate, because it's supposed to be much less setup time with the blend pop than the math mix, because here we have to do all this, and here it should be less steps. I will revisit this again. Anyway, so yeah, now we have our rise going from state A to B to C. Let's see what else we have in the lookup channels for our particle system, because we have, for example, lookup channel. This is scale by age. So what happens here is the particles start out with a size of a scale of 0, and then throughout their lifetime they will grow into their full size here, and then at the end of their life they're gonna wither away into nothingness, to be poetic. And that's what's happening here. They kind of fade out. So this is why pops are great, because we can just do this. When we wanted to do this with particle GPU, for example, back in the old days, we had to do some hacks and kind of dig in deep into Particles GPU. And I mean, it wasn't impossible, but this is just much more simple to do, like a scale by age, and then I combine the scale XYZ with this scale by age attribute that I looked up here, based on the normalized age. And again, the normalized age is great because it goes from 0 to 1, so we're going to be able to use it easily for lookups. Okay, so that's the scaling. What is also here, yeah, hey chat, hey everyone, I'm here watching you. What we also have here is, okay, this is the general scale of things. Great, we talked about that. Okay, so when it comes to the rice, back to the look of the rice, I wanted for each grain of rice to have a unique shape. And you might think, okay, if you want a unique shape for each grain of rice, why don't you just add the noise after it? And let's see what happens when we try to do that. So again, we are back to after our copy stuff. I wish I had more space somehow. So yeah, these are now our particle system, but what we want is each grain of rice to have a unique shape, because right now they are just copied. The same geometry is being copied. So how you would first start thinking about it, and how I did that, okay, I add the noise, and add the noise to the position. What does that do? It kind of adds a unique shape for each of them, but what's going on if I actually use this? Whoa, okay, maybe we should turn off the bloom for a second. Let me do that. Bloom is off, kind of. So once we start applying a noise to the whole particle system, okay, I need to get rid of another bloom. Okay, so again, once we start applying our noise to the whole particle system, the problem is, as the particles move through the space, they change shape. So they don't retain their shape. They're kind of like wiggling around as they go about in the position vector field, because we're looking up based on the position, and because the position of the geometries and all the points change as they go around, they're gonna look up different noise values, and they're gonna sample different noise values. So this was kind of my problem. Okay, I want each grain of rice to be unique, but not change their shape as they fly about. And to solve this, I thought, okay, I need a position lookup, but I need a position lookup that is unique for each grain of rice, and which doesn't change its shape as it goes in the space. And it also needs to be, for us to have a coherent noise, noisy look, it needs to be based on the point positions of each individual rice grain. Because let's say you're thinking, okay, I need a unique noise lookup for each grain of rice. Okay, what is unique in a particle system? In POPs, we have particle IDs, and these particle IDs are going to be unique for each grain of rice. So you could say, okay, I'm going to create this part ID. Wait, I'm going to use this part ID actually. Okay, this is how I'm going to do it. Back to here. In this noise, I'm going to use the part ID as the lookup for each grain of rice. And that's cool, but what it does is it actually, because for like a grain of rice is made out of multiple points, for each point of one grain of rice, it's gonna apply the same position offset. So that's just gonna kind of, yeah, as you can see, like move each of them in a different direction based on the noise. So that's not really good, because we want each of them to have a little bit of a different shape instead of offsetting them. So then I was, okay, that's great that I have this part ID because this makes all of them unique. But I really need the position lookup for them to take up a noisy shape, to offset each point of a single grain of rice individually. I hope this is kind of clear, that the problem is clear here with this demonstration. So I was like, okay, as these particles are flying about, I actually want for each of them to have a local coordinate system that's based around their center. And if I know the center of the particles and I know each point position, each point attribute of a single particle or a single grain of rice, then I can calculate the local unique, the local position that's also going to be offset by a unique number, which is the particle ID. Maybe this is a bit convoluted how I'm saying it, but once I'm showing it right now, how I did that, it's going to be pretty clear. So when do I do this? Yeah, before mixing the rice into different states and all that in the particle lookups, I create a duplicate attribute from the position of the particles. So this is gonna be the center position of each particle, because we are copying each individual pop geometry to these positions. So I'm just duplicating maybe I should mute my Discord. So essentially, I'm seeing some people on my Discord, and I'm just so sad that we cannot solve the issue. If anybody knows how to route my audio from Discord's output to OBS, just please let me know, because we have all the guests there, and now I feel like a horrible host because I am. Okay, so we have the center position for each grain, and what we do then is, after we have copied all the geometries in here, after that, what we do is calculate. Can you do application audio capture device? That's a good idea, a good question. I'm gonna check it in a sec. So after we have copied all the geometry positions to their center positions, what we can then do is subtract each position attribute from their center. So when we do that, each of these will have the center. Each of these points, can I zoom in here? Each of these points that are part of one grain of rice, they're gonna be transformed basically with this subtraction to the center, from their center, sorry. And when I also add to that a unique ID, I suddenly have voice meter banana. I have a voice meter banana. That's also something I need to check in a sec. Anyway, we're getting soon to the point where we can have our guests chime in on some topics, so I will revisit. So now that I have this local position for each grain of rice, I can add a unique ID to them. Because still, if I didn't add a unique offset to each of these lookups, these local position lookups, then they would still have the same local coordinate, because they are all transformed basically to the center of the coordinate system. And by adding a random number to them, which is the particle ID, we make all of them unique. And roundabout way, let's plug in our test suit here. If I now start messing with the offsets, they are a little bit offset from their initial position because of the exponent and all that, but basically we are more likely to just change, or not more likely, but we are more so just changing the noise of each individual rice. So now they each have, like, this is a bit twisted, and this is a bit shorter maybe, so they each have a unique look to them as we look like this. Why it's getting to this white state, it's because it's kind of inverting on itself. I wish I could easily solve that. That would be the next step, so that they don't do that. But we are now giving them a local unique noise offset for each point. Yeah, I hope that was kind of clear. I know it's not like the most easy, like it wasn't probably the best explanation that I could have given, but I will try in a different tutorial, like a separate tutorial, to talk about this a bit more, because I think it's a neat thing that now each of these babies have a unique shape. Cool. That's what we wanted. Okay. Can I undo? Undo. Great. So this is where we are at now, and what I want to talk about. Translate along normal instead of add should fix the invert. Okay. How can I do that? Wait. Maybe it's now time to have a little break, and I will set up my audio, or try to set up my audio, because I have voice meter here, I have OBS here, and let's see if I can set up like a capture, like an audio capture. Application audio capture beta version, okay. Discord, window, and Discord. I don't care. That's not it. Discord. Let's see. 1, 2, check. Hello, Discord, people of Discord. Please say something.
Hey.
Hello.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Thank you. Yeah, Ethan, for suggesting this. We're on. You're on. Welcome to the show. Amazing.
Hello.
No, I just don't need to close Discord. Sweet. So, like, you were saying that if I translate along the normal instead of add, can you help us with that? How can I translate along the normals? He left. Just too big of a pressure. How can I do that?
Yeah, I was thinking something similar. I think the way would be, instead of adding it, you're like adding to the normals. But I know how to do this in like Houdini. I'm not sure about Pops. Lake's back though, so maybe he can.
Yeah, if he fixes his audio. Because I guess each of them have a normal already, which could also be an issue because each of them are already like noisy, and they have like a noise on the normals also.
Yeah, but you can't hear me?
Yeah, now we can. Yeah, we got you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll put tab of the noise. Okay, combine operation.
Output tab. Okay, so you're saying if I add to the noise here, like this, or the normal, but that still doesn't offset the position, right? So I need a math combine after this or something, no? I would expect. Now we don't hear you. Something's...
I think I'm just delayed quite a bit, but the output, the combine operation on the noise is set to add right now. That drop-down menu has another choice called translate along normal.
Oh, really? Oh, shit. Okay. That's cool. By the way, if you're listening to me on the stream, you should be listening to me on the Discord if you're on Discord. Okay, if I translate along the normal, it looks interesting. Let's get back this thing. Yeah, just mute the stream if you're on Discord. I don't even hear you on my Discord, Ethan.
Okay,
Yeah, I
now
can't
that I
hear
paused
you.
the stream, it worked a lot better. I was losing my mind.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was hard to track with the backwards.
Okay, so I'm translating along the normals now, and it's still kind of not doing what I want it to do.
Oh, worth a shot.
Output noise translate along the normals, and like if I look at it from here, they're also like, yeah, they're kind of going through themselves and not really. But if I do positive only, it's a bit better maybe, but not really. They
I
still
missed some of the earlier part, but you're using the lookup attribute as L for applying the noise.
Yeah.
Okay.
This L attribute is their kind of local coordinate system for each grain of rice.
Nice. Okay.
And then I'm adding a random ID to them so that they all have their own, like, yeah, random.
I think you should also maybe compute the normals on the output. I'm not sure if you're doing it.
On the very output, yeah, I'm doing it, and I'm also not doing it. Maybe that's the issue, because yeah, this is gonna be like one of the things when it comes to compositing that I had to do a little normal trick here. So now if I compute the normals properly, and do that, I mean, yeah, the
You also
is,
have on the noise output page. You have like compute normals.
compute normals.
Like maybe it's a normal.
Wow, I didn't know about that. That's a good one.
Okay, it's looking better, I think. Perhaps, but still, I feel like I see some
You're
some
still
weird.
getting some back faces.
Yeah, I see, for example, here's this guy, for example, like doing a not nice twist. But if I do positive only, I think now it should be better. Yeah, that's actually better. Yeah, I think this could be okay. Maybe the fact that I also have noise by default on them, and they have a normal by default, like the incoming geometry, that could also pose an issue. But yeah, now it's like popcorn.
I wonder
Kind
if you could smooth the normal for that incoming geometry maybe before you do this noise.
Or
Even
just
maybe for
just
this
get
step.
rid of it fully and just do everything in this post
Yeah.
noise. That could also be a way to go. Yeah, but yeah, this is cool to know that there's this output translate along normal. Great. Okay, I'm just gonna undo that though, because I changed a lot of things. Yeah. And earlier I was talking about the cooked attribute for each of these different states. So, for example, the uncooked and the seedling have this cooked attribute as 0, and then the cooked one has this as 1. And what I'm doing here, and we're gonna get into the post effects here, but as a preliminary thing here, that I have a render pass here, which basically renders each grain of rice as their cooked state. So they get to white when they are cooked, and they are black when they are uncooked. And later we will use this as a matte cross between the different materials, because yeah, as I said earlier, we cannot really cross between materials, unfortunately. So after all the ricing is done here, I have a select here, and I'm basically replacing the color of this of the rice with the cooked state, and we will use this later, this extra render. It's actually not even a render pass, this is a separate render, to do mapping between different states, because we have all these render passes, and I'm not sure how many of you in the viewers do render passes, but yeah, if you want to get some nicer looks, usually you need multiple passes and kind of combine and composite them in different ways. Does anybody know of a good tutorial on render passes? If not, I'm happy to do one. I mean, this is going to be like a small one, but yeah, anybody in the audience or on Discord who know?
I know B2BK has that really nice like advanced render pass one, but that's for doing things like outputting like world space positions. So you could like generate a particle system off of an existing model that you're rendering.
B2BK render passes. Yeah, I mean that's also part of it, right? Like using the normals and all that to add some extra, I don't know, like the normal pass I could see being used as enhancing some 3D-ness or like, yeah, I don't even know. But yeah, it has this 3D rendering with buffers, maybe, is that it?
Yeah, his was
Yeah,
mostly
that one's awesome.
pertaining to like trying to really maximize the like 3D look.
Yeah.
And then also went into like, there's like a couple tricks you can do where you like paint onto the UVs via screen space, and you can use that. I think that's like a continuation of it, possibly. But I think a tutorial, even if it's covering a lot of the same topics, but coming from a different perspective,
Yeah.
it's always going to be helpful. I would say we could probably use like
I agree
3 to
with that.
5 more rendering
Yeah.
tutorials from different people.
Yeah.
Because
I agree.
that'd be great for so many people getting into TD, because a lot of people like to make pretty looking stuff, and it's not very intuitive.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like for your latest Instagram post, are you using render passes with the erosion?
Yes. Several.
Okay, great. So,
But those render passes are like feeding back into the simulation also.
oh, amazing. So yeah, you're on the roster for a render pass tutorial, I think,
True.
if you want.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna get that in the weeds on that one, to be honest. It's maybe too hardcore.
Okay.
There we go.
Well, yeah, I love his little avatar. Yeah, what I'm doing here is these different passes that I have. I'm just gonna show them separately. So this is kind of the base look, the base color look, and what I have here is actually, if I bypass this, this is how they would look like normally. So this is with all the normals calculated and all the lights and everything. But I wanted more of a matte, flat look as a base, because Rise looks pretty flat usually. In terms of lighting, it doesn't have a lot of specular. I mean, it has speculars, but it's more the steamy speculars and the more the noisy speculars, not the overall shape of it. So I wanted a more flat look, and yeah, what I did was kind of a hacky way, I think. Because I thought I could take the normals and then multiply them and kind of tone them down with a multiply. But the multiply actually doesn't really do much at all. Because I guess with the normals, it looks at, like the render engine looks at the normalized value of the normals. So I guess that's why the multiply doesn't do anything. So instead, I'm kind of subtracting from the normals, which in the end, I'm subtracting so much that they just become kind of flat. But that's what I wanted. Yeah, I'm sure this is not the right way to go about it, but in this way I could also kind of fine-tune a little bit of how much definition I want in the base look. But yeah, I just wanted kind of none at all. If I multiply by 0, yeah, that's not good. So yeah, this is the base look, let's say. And then I wanted, of course, speculars, which I'm not sure it comes through on the stream, but yeah, especially if the angle is such on the camera, like we can see that, yeah, there's a lot of definition that can come through in these little speculars. So that's why I have a separate render pass, which is first the uncooked. So this is how it looks, this render pass. And for those who don't know what render pass is, hey Wieland, welcome. For those who don't know, the render pass top it takes a render top or another render pass as its reference, and then it basically copies all the camera settings, all the geometries, all the lights, every setting, and it's much more cheap than copy pasting a render, because here you can also overwrite which geometries you want rendered in this render pass. It's still gonna use the same camera, it's still gonna use the same lights. You can clear the color buffer or not, you can clear the depth buffer or not, and you can override also the material, which is the greatest feature of it, and what we are using here really is overriding.
Yeah, and do you know why you have to like chain link your render passes? I've never quite understood why that's the case.
I also don't know, actually.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. You have to like link one into the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because suddenly, for example, here in T3D, like I'm going from because in T3D I'm also using it for the volumetric stuff, which we're gonna get to in a sec. But it goes from render 1 to T3D, and then from T3D to this specular render, because that's just how I did it when I was working on this. That was the order of development. And then yeah, I have like a shitty, crazy expression here, because I don't want things to break if I uncook the T3D, or like if I even stub the T3D, because you can remove T3D and then put it back. That's what I did in the Patreon file. So here I have a crazy like try except thing of not getting errors and not breaking the render pass chain, because yeah, as Ethan was saying, there's this issue of, well, not issue, there's this feature or requirement. Yeah. Hey Torin, well, we didn't get to MediaPipe yet, but yeah, it was nice to have you on.
Yeah, keep me posted. Happy to answer any pieces later about the MediaPipe setup.
Thanks. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to chain this, so it comes from render 1 to the T3D, and then T3D to this render pass, and then this cooked one is actually first going to my shadow pass, and then the shadow pass is taking from the specular. So it's like all like, yeah, it's so like frustrating to keep track of these. I guess why you would need that, but I don't even know why that would be a thing, because of this clear color buffer and like clear depth buffer.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, because it goes back to the, like, if you do the same thing in OpenGL or whatever, if you think about writing code as a script linearly, having the buffers, you need to keep the chain. Otherwise, you're trying to have one buffer that gets written to twice, and then you get race.
You're right, that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm gonna do something quickly here.
Yeah, so they're just stacking them in the back end based on that order, most probably. I mean, it would have to be at some point deciding what goes what. Nice.
Wait, I'm doing something. I wanna get you guys also on the. Oh my god, I'm so bad with OBS. Because I wanna get you, like, get the chat onto there. Not the chat, but like basically to show who's speaking, because it could be a bit Discord. Fuck yeah. Hang on for 1 second. I'm also realizing now that I think I have a lot of background noise. Do I? Ah, okay, cool. Because there's a concert going on in the cafe below me. So I was thinking that might be the thing.
Good thing you don't get DMCA striked for it.
It sounds like some local band, so I think it should be fine. Yeah, I live right above this cafe, which, you know, sometimes there's so much good music going on, and like they even have like full drum sets and everything. And sometimes it's the same techno beat for 3 hours, and that's when I'm like,
That's insane.
I want the bands back scene. Discord too. Oh no, this is transforming everything. I want to crop. How can I crop? crop filter thing. Yeah. Crop pads. I think there's some other way. There must be. There has to be. Come on. Why don't we just stream from touch though? Like everything should be just from touch. Okay, this looks kind of good. I think it's pretty singular. Not really, not really dual in this case. What's the right number? 1650. Okay, that should be fine. This is top content. I should have done this way before. Okay, yay. Oh my god.
I think
I just spouted over.
with engine, yeah.
Fuck yeah. Solved. Okay, but this was good time for people to grab a coffee maybe. Okay, so we have all these different render passes, and basically I'm making these render passes so I can optimize my speculars on the base flat looking rice. So this is the uncooked one. The cooked one has a bit more emmet color to it, as you can see it here. And then it also has like a different metallicness and roughness as the uncooked version. So this was really to get the point across that this rice is steamy and cooked and kind of moist, like this maybe. Yeah, this doesn't really come through like on stream and like on Instagram, but on my monitor it really makes a big difference, which is a good excuse. And then we also have a SSAO, of course, after the base render, so that gives more definition. But still, we just have these separate render passes. So also for the shadow, there's a different render pass with the shadow strength as a color buffer. And I think that's also a lot of people don't know about this, and this is really great hack to tame your shadows and to enhance them, maybe to have a separate shadow strength pass. So once we have all these different render passes, including the background, which I will just quickly show that it's a simple thing. Backboard using the substance, built-in substance stuff of Touch Designer, and then I created another backboard, like a more bright one, and then finally this little grid thing, so it's kind of Japanese style. You guys have been to Japan. I mean, I know Lyle has been to Japan. Did you encounter such restaurants that have this? Or is this just a stereotype thing in my mind?
For the... Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely. We actually, one of our Airbnbs we stayed at was like a very traditional little spot, and it had all the walls for a lot of the rooms were made of this. I can't think of the name, but
yeah, there's a name. Cool. So I didn't do anything wrong with this. I'm gonna turn off suppression.
Yeah, I've been there once, so I can definitely say that you're all good.
Thanks. And this is also using pops, taking. I don't know if this is the best way of doing this, but taking two like a cross. And then copying a tube, so it's kind of looks 3D, which doesn't really matter in this setting, but it's all about what feels good to you. So this is like a...
Honestly, it looks like a photo in the background, so good job on that.
Thanks. Yeah, it could be. It should be. Maybe it should be a photo. But
I thought it was a photo.
That's funny.
But yeah, and we have more control like this, and then it becomes this with the copy. It becomes this created thing, and again just using the built-in wood PBR And then my friend Carlos Serrano, he a few days before I was working on this, he told me like how much of a difference a gobo makes to make things look realistic and more kind of detailed and more less flat. And this is a new word that I learned, gobo. I don't even know what gobo stands for. I'm sure Ethan knows. Gobo meaning.
Actually, does it stand for anything, or is it just like a colloquial name? I actually should know that.
I'm not
Okay,
sure what the source of that
derivation,
is.
so I'm on Wikipedia. It says, the exact derivation of the term gobo is unclear, although it appears to have originated in the cinema studios in the 1930s. It may be American slang abbreviation of go between or go before, just as New York's Soho. Interesting.
I don't know about
Go
that, but
before optics.
I'm not sure about the slow.
Yeah.
But go before makes sense. Like, yeah, you're putting it in front of the light.
Yeah, go between optics. That's to me. Yeah,
Doesn't it technically go after though?
It's going before what you're casting the light on, I guess.
That's true.
I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, I can't really justify it.
Depends on your perspective.
Yeah, exactly.
As with everything. Okay, so yeah, we have this gobo, which is just a light comp with a projector map, which is just that's this it's moving a little bit, so there's some slight movement. I think I got this I bought it for like $5 from like a pack, like a global pack from Gumroad. There's some different trees, and yeah, you can see it in the background here, kind of moving slightly also, so that's cool. And yeah, with all these render passes, what I'm trying to get to is the post effects. And after the post effects, I'm going to talk about T3D, or maybe now is the time to talk about T3D, because we still have that render pass, which I haven't talked about. So we talked about, okay, we have a shadow, we have a different cooked state, which we are going to use for matting later on, and all the different speculars, so that we optimize our look to be more realistic in some ways. But T3D is something I haven't talked about. So T3D, when I activate it and boost it a little bit, what it's going to do for us, I need to get the bounds. What it's going to do for us is add a little bit of a steam. So here we can kind of see it. And I wish we could have Josef on, because I have quite a few questions when it comes to pop to T3D. Because I have to do this get bounds all the time. Well, not all the time, but like to go from pops to T3D, I need to define the bounds of my geometry, and it doesn't seem to be doing like a perfect job of what I want. So yeah, gonna consult him. But what I'm trying to do here is generate steam from like stemming from each individual grain of rice, because that's what's happening in real life also. So I try to go ham with like that. So in this T3D setup, we have the incoming geometry, like everything. It goes into Geo to T3D, and this is where I have the bounds, and this is where I can also define the resolution of my 3D volume. And yeah, this get bounds, I'm not happy with. Yeah, go between optics is what Human is saying on the chat. So I have to use this get bounds to try to capture my 3D volume and make it into T3D. So that could also already be like enough for us, but that's kind of how it looks without anything added. So it's really just trying to match our 3D input to T3D if I just render it like that. But T3D has this fluid simulation, and it's not really doing it very strongly right now. I wonder why. Because what I have here is that the steam kind of rises upwards, and it's not Not showing like it used to. But also it stops here, so yeah, I wish we could have Joseph on for this. Because in principle, what we have here is I multiply this T3D volume with the noise, so it's kind of more random how much steam they give off, each of them. So I have a little bit of a randomization. Also randomization for the fluid simulation offset directions, so they don't just float up, but they do a little turbulence, which would be this noise. And then this composite is kind of randomizing, or like, yeah, multiplying the whole volume with a random volume. And then it goes onto the fluid. I do some leveling on it, so kind of optimize the color. But yeah, it's not looking very nice today. Joseph, I summon you. I summon thee. He's doing some parenting probably. Yeah, but this is the T3D, and yeah, this is obviously can be improved a little bit more to do what we want. And okay, finally I'm gonna talk about compositing. Or we could talk about POPX. Yuval, are you ready to talk about POPX before compositing? Yuval, are you here? I think you're
I don't want to like jump in the way, but do you mind if I talk about motion blur real fast? Because I have to run in a second.
Yeah, let's do that. Perfect. Yeah, let's talk about motion blur, because I actually am using motion blur quite a lot. By the way, Yuval, if you're listening to the stream, listen to Discord instead of the stream.
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Because we're gonna be very offset in time otherwise. So yeah. First, we're gonna talk about motion blur. Ethan, motion blur, amazing. Like really, like,
thanks, man.
It's I think it's something that everybody, when looking at, I don't know, like Unreal Engine and all that, like for me, that's what sets Unreal Engine also apart, is that they have nice motion blur, which makes,
really my goal was just to make all the people who hate motion blur really angry. That was my main goal.
That did you succeed, you think?
Yeah, I hope so. That's the goal.
Wait, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
We've heard you before, also just with a delay, because we were more on Discord.
Listening, I think, YouTube.
No worries. Yeah, let's first talk about this, and then we go to POPX.
Yeah. So
do you want to say something about it before I?
Yeah, for sure. Like the tool is built specifically for Windows first, but we were able to like kind of hacky use the operator from the palette if you change the RTX mode. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but like yeah, you can see the change happening there. But yeah, if you pop the vectors open, I feel like that's something that people haven't gotten to see as much.
Which
tab
one?
3.
Tab 3?
Yep. On the bars up top, yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm watching your stream.
Yeah.
And then can you just turn on one of the vectors as well?
Like display vector debug.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you mind sharing your screen onto the Discord chat?
Oh yeah, I can.
Is that possible? I actually don't know if you can do that. Oh yeah, you can.
It should be. Oh wait, not my camera, but my screen. There we go.
Awesome, thanks, man. Yeah, perfect. So on Vectors tab, if you could display, there you go. So then that line is showing us the direction of which way the optical flow is headed. So it's just like a really easy way to be able to tell very literally like what's happening beforehand. You can also see there's a bunch of dots in the background. And that's telling us that there's just a little bit of camera shake going on.
Yeah.
And you could make the vector line length, max line length at the bottom, like 50 or something super high. And that'll just make it super exaggerated. And that density shows us how dense we want to do the sampling. So the intention of this is really just that it helps us quickly identify like what's happening, and also like, are we doing a good job at filtering? Because you can change like the minimum versus the maximum. And I noticed, I think,
Question here.
I see they're not aligned.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What were you gonna ask? Sorry.
Yeah, like the density here.
Yeah.
Is this matching like because I guess there's some downsampling going on, so like maybe the sampling is not this dense as I'm putting it now, or like is there a way
So what's cool is that the vector
display that?
density actually is separate from its own pass running off of the existing resolution. So it's just saying how common of a repeat it wants to make for checking the density, or sorry, the density is a scalar value of how dense it wants to sample on the existing resolution. So it's kind of nice because when you play with the vector debug stuff, it doesn't affect the final output of the blur whatsoever, which is kind of nice.
But like for example, this motion blur samples, I guess that's kind of
so the samples are how many samples temporally through time that we're sampling. So it's from the latest to the oldest sample. So if you made that like 2, for example, and you turn off the debug, you'll be able to see a really crappy blur happening where it's just the current frame and the last frame. If you were to turn that motion blur to like, a crazy high number. So it's not really going to be apparent because I think they're not that much showing up. But if you did, exactly. Maybe 3 or 4. Yeah, so it's going to be very subtle. Yeah, there you go. So do 4 and then do like 30. Yep. I mean, so even paused, it looks okay. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's essentially just doing frame interpolation at this point.
If I pause it, I can see the duplication.
Yeah, you can see the doubling. So then now turn that up to like 20, maybe, or... Yep, and it's going to start to really nicely blur. If you can set it up to 128, you can go even higher, but that's only very useful when you're doing the manual vector override, where you're just like plugging in, like a crazy ramp to make it super duper blurry. That's just more for like a post-processing effect.
And you said that I'm off with the mapping somehow. Like
press check your overscan. So go to setup and then turn off overscan.
Turn off overscan.
Yep, and then that's going to align it perfectly. So overscan allows us to. It doesn't really work great with render passes, but overscan allows us to essentially scan larger than the size of the real thing, so that when we go in and we create on that noise pattern that it generates, we're allowing it to like see things from outside of the edge of the corner of the frame, so that we don't have pop in on the edges. So that's the purpose of overscanning. But you're essentially just like super scanning the size of it a little bit with a higher FOV.
Okay, so it's actually like a different render pass that that kind of zooms out a little bit more and does the motion blur and crops it in back to the original.
Yep. And that it only really works when the vector system is turned off. You're turned to render. If you click on vector system on that same tab you're on, setup. So see how that one says render raw versus render material override. So overscan is really only going to be super beneficial when you have it using the render based system, because I'm already doing a render and I'm like over cropping it larger than the res of the actual render. But tops are just doing like pixel to pixel. It's 1-to-1.
So what does overscan do with tops, really?
It just counteracts the thing that it's doing. So technically, it only would hurt you if it was on tops only. Yeah.
Yeah, I see. Still,
and then you can also do show delay debug.
Okay, this is something I wanted to ask. How can I? How do I use this? Because it's a bit.
How do you use it?
Yeah.
It's a little crazy. So turn your vectors off, and then. So what that's doing, and this actually might just be a resolution thing. What res are you running this at?
1920, but like 1080p.
Huh. Oh, that's funny. Maybe it's a font mismatch. I haven't gotten to play around with this on many other PCs, but that's probably it's here. That. That I think that's supposed to have like a symbol inside of it, but it should be a machine icon. So I don't know why it's not showing up. It goes upstream a little bit further at the very beginning.
in the beginning.
And what that one does is it moves a constant circle. Yeah, there you go in the textures.
there we go.
Yes, that must just be empty. What the heck is happening?
No input, it says.
That's funny. Yeah, something is wrong with that text.
Missing.
Yeah. It's probably just a mismatch with the render workflow that you're using. Like, you might have found the way that this doesn't like it, since you're doing like a multipass based system. But essentially what that is supposed to be doing is it just shows us a little spinning line, and it helps us to check the timing for if the RTX is late or early. Yeah, it's easiest to be seen when it's not plugged in.
Maybe I should
through.
Maybe grab like a new one.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, don't worry. Like, I'm happy to explain it, but it's not like a mission critical feature or anything. Yeah, there you go. That's it right there. So if you just go to setup page and then go to debug.
Show debug overlay.
Yeah, okay. That's it right there. So it will show. Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing up, but you can see the green line is the width of the blur, and then we want that to be in the center of that because we don't want to have what technically is happening is like the time slipped. So we can slip either the delay of the color or the delay of the vector. And 0.1 is pretty much anything above just barely 0 is pretty much perfect. Because the RTX has to run a frame in order for it to do anything. Because it doesn't know what's happening, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the reason for that.
What we're showing right now is good because like the two like green dots I'm seeing in between is the original line, or is that what I should be seeing?
Exactly right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because then it allows you to like be artistic with it. Like if you want, you could have a person like dancing or whatever, and then have the blur be like a couple frames behind them, and it would look very interesting, but it would be obviously not technically accurate. So that's the reason why we have the delay index for that.
I see. Yeah, that's I was playing around a little bit with that, and kind of realized that could be the thing. Like how much do you want to exaggerate the motion in a way? Because if it's like more delayed, it can be a bit more exaggerated or like more cartoonish or something like that. I don't know. Yeah.
And like I need to still sit down and make a proper tutorial video on this whole thing because there's a lot of parameters that you can do things with, but there's all
the optical flow stuff, and like here you can also go pretty crazy if you gain this up, and
it's really fun to break.
Yeah, I have a do I have it motion blur? I should have it with my face like going all crazy.
Oh, nice.
I'll try to open the project because I also want to do a tutorial about that because that's a really fun thing.
Ethan, question for the class on performance.
Yeah.
What do you recommend to, like, normally if I'm running, like, let's say 4K texture through this using the tops, it's like getting pretty heavy. Besides the complexity, is there anything that I should know about to try and get some FPS back?
For sure. So the pre-shrink is your other help in that. I should probably add like a label that's more obvious. So what that's doing is it's downsampling the vector in at the level of the optical flow. So internally to optical flow's top, it has a pre-shrink value that basically just says like, hey, reduce the resolution before I try to analyze you. So the complexity is how complex it is of which pixel it looks for of its neighboring pixel, and then the pre-shrink is literally the entire resolution of the canvas. Technically, that probably should be at the top, but I did follow the same way the optical flow top lays it out, just so that it's like not too alien to people. But yeah, definitely try to pre-shrink beforehand.
So the pre-shrink.
One other side note.
You should increase for more performance, I guess. Yeah.
Yep. Higher pre-shrink will decrease the resolution that it's trying to analyze, and increasing the performance for sure.
Cool. This is great. Love the component.
Nice.
I almost always use it with the tops mode, but yeah.
Yeah.
Every day now.
It's and like if you click on macros, it's pretty helpful. I wouldn't click on it now, but like clicking tops only plus custom vector input or just tops only in general is gonna like hit my preferred stuff. But I got a really good note. Was it you, Dan? Somebody else mentioned to it was like, hey, it should technically start with like 4x4 or 2x2 because some of like the non RTX cards that support ray tracing, like all the 1000, 4000 series and stuff, like the ADA cards and stuff, they don't do non 1-to-1. They have to do 4x4 for some reason, which is just like a really weird caveat to me. But yeah, like, and eventually I'm going to be making like a high, low, mid preset for like just general, sub menu essentially. That'll be a lot nicer on people's computers for sure.
Yeah, I think the macros could also be kind of expanded with some more settings there, because I found myself a lot of times. I mean, I'm also probably misusing it in many ways. And also the macros are also, of course, like here, but yeah, I find myself.
It's just confusing. I'm so open to feedback on this. Like, is that layout confusing to you guys?
Yeah, a tiny bit, yeah.
Cool. Great.
Or like, yeah,
would you rather it be tab at the top, or like what's the better way to make it nicer, you think?
I think the macros are great if they include more things for me. Like, I don't need to be like messing around with everything all the time. But for example, I found like the gain, like the optical flow gain was something that I was playing around with quite a lot. And also the pre-shrink here is also, quite important. So that is something I would for sure add there.
Cool. Because almost like I want a general quality slider of like performance versus like realism. I think that'd be helpful. But then also maybe just like the shutter speed length. It's hard to say because like they kind of intermingle with each other in some ways. The hard one is that project like, FPS. Oh, go ahead, sir.
Up on a macro that's like these are the parameters that are being affected or something.
Oh,
There's
interesting.
Kind of just like so many parameters that I don't, I'm like touching all of them and don't really know what's linked to what all the time. Besides gain, I found that one
for sure, and that's kind of the hard part that I've like not loved is maybe it needs to literally be a pop-up window because like you can't see two things that you're affecting at the same time, and it's kind of annoying.
Meaning.
Interesting. Like a pop-up that would show the sliders of the macro stuff. Like, here's all the stuff you would want to play with. But then you could still see the pars on the custom par tab. Like, you have to pop literally between tabs, and that makes it hard to tell what you're doing,
Yeah.
Or have a main, like, basic parameters, the top 8 or whatever, and then, like, have an open advanced parameters that pops up and opens, like, all the rest or something.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I like that.
Kind of decluttering the immediate, like, what are people going to use 90% of the time? And then I'll dig for the other 10% for sure.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, I like the idea of advanced pop-up.
If you had even an advanced tab or something, and then if your macros are affecting those, even just, like a little status that shows that like, oh, these 4 pars were just updated. Then you could go to that tab and see what those are set at, or... It is too bad that you can't really select a comp and see 2 parameter pages at a time without the parameter.
It is
comp.
Annoying. It's been getting to me recently. Losing sleep.
I'm actually doing this.
Select in parameter comps and have the parameter comp linked to different pages.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You have to use the parameter.
Yeah, like literally in that way.
Yeah. Right.
One question:
network and have 2 selected differently would be nice.
What do you think of just like making a nice little pop-up GUI that just does the macro stuff for you? Like, I get mixed on it because then I'm like, if I do that, then it's less like scriptable to some degree. I just don't want to like
you can
alienate like non-Python people,
higher level, almost like preset defining parameters.
Yeah.
That other ones, even if it's like a float, if you have like that general quality. I think just like making those relations clear, even just having, maybe you just have one settings page and the macros are at the top and you can just see all the things changing right there.
Interesting.
I've seen so many people, especially earlier versions of Stream Diffusion, when now I have like 8 pages. But I had so many people just took all the parameters and put them on one parameter comp so they could see everything. And I was like, I like organized things, but yeah.
Yeah, because like Swaggy Boca is like a ton of stuff, but it's like I like that it's all on one page.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
kind of a funny handoff.
A very nice setup.
Yeah.
I also ended up with the
Thank
Stream
you.
Diffusion, just creating my own little parameter comp with my selection of parameters that I liked and used. What I wanted to show here is this
building
also.
in a simple.
Oh yeah, there you go. This is my favorite.
Oh hell yeah!
Sorry, Lyle, you were
It's
saying?
so trippy and weird.
Oh, is this just like 2-frame motion blur, just extreme?
Yeah, it's like face. Are you face tracking after the motion blur on this?
This is gonna be a separate tutorial, I think, that I'm gonna make.
Oh, nice.
But
That's actually
so
really
funny.
sick, man.
yeah, it's super fun. What I'm doing here is
Oh, you're stabilizing.
This is just me, and then and then this transform is where it's like doing the face tracking. Like this is the face tracking because it's wonky by itself also a little bit, and like you can see the edges of me kind of move around. That helps, and then I just fit in so that I'm always in the center. Basically, I just crop in essentially, and then I do the motion blur. And
Can
here,
you put the motion blur instead of after? Can you put it before and see if there's a substantial difference
before the face tracking.
before the transform? Yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Now it's time to shine my toolkit if it's gonna work.
Ooh.
Can I swap these two operators?
Oh, no way. That's crazy. Oh, dude, that's insane.
No, not quite.
Almost.
Kind of.
Almost.
That's crazy.
Oh yeah, this is
Yeah, there you go. It's wild.
yeah. I think I like the other one a bit more.
That's so gross.
But this is like a
Yeah,
different
I like the
flavor.
other one more. Yeah, that's
And I
nuts.
plugged up. Yeah, this is super fun, and now it's just reacting to our voice, kind of zooming in and like changing positions. I can change it back to the music, and then I'm gonna get DM stage, so I'm not gonna show that. But like, yeah, this is reacting to like beat changes and all that, and then it becomes very fun.
Yeah, I'm
Pocket,
stoked to get this onto some iMag stuff in the future.
Yeah, for iMac, this
be a
is
good time.
gonna be insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, Pocket has just said that he just made himself another coffee and he's enjoying the stream, which is very lovely to hear, especially from the sensei.
What's up, dude?
All right, motion blur, amazing. Like, yeah, just
Thank you, man. Appreciate
just to
that.
make things look a bit more like realistic and more like how you would expect from Unreal and like some other render engines, getting close to that. And yeah, the artistic use cases are also pretty cool. I think I sent you, Ethan, some experiments I was doing with feedbacks and like putting
So
this
crazy.
into feedback systems. And that's good. Yeah, that's I'm still exploring.
Yeah,
that.
for anybody who doesn't like Dan immediately broke it in the best way ever, and I was just like, "Are you freaking like who?" I would not have thought to put this in a feedback loop, and it was so
Yeah.
sick.
I'm gonna
So
check
funny.
if I can find it.
Dan will find the bugs, that's for sure.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, dude.
I'll break anything and everything. Touch is
Bugs,
doing this for me
opportunities,
sometimes,
you can
that it
see it.
opens a command window now for some
Oh,
reason,
weird.
but only sometimes. Weird shit. Yeah, how long have you worked on this, or how long did you work on this? Cool.
I had to take a hiatus on it, but probably about 2 months of like intentional work. But it was like almost a year in the making.
Wow.
No, less than that. I'm sorry, that's not a full year. Probably about 6 months in the making, I would say. But I felt really bad because I like released the promo video, and then all these people were like PMing me and like private emailing me, and were like, is this gonna die? I'm like, no, it's not gonna die, I promise. Like, we're gonna do it.
People are already
That's so sick,
anticipating
what the heck?
the death of the project.
Yeah, I was like, no, I promise it's not gonna die. Like,
Yeah.
we've just had so many installs that I can't finish it, but now it's finally done. So
So this
thank you
is,
guys for the ideas too. It's so helpful.
yeah, nice to have this discourse
Yeah.
on these things. Yeah, I mean, here I'm using it in
This
a
is sick.
feedback. And am I using it in a feedback? No, I think ended up ditching it actually for just optical flow, because I realized, hey, what I'm actually doing is just messing
Yeah.
out with optical flow, and that's what's really like affecting the feedback in the
That's so
end.
cool.
So I think I have like an earlier version of this where I was using the motion blur, but yeah, then I was like, okay, I get more control what I'm trying to do with optical flow. So still remains to be fully excavated, the possibilities. Yeah.
No, it's such a pretty fluid look. That's crazy.
Yeah, this is also just lots of optical flow shit going on. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, if
fun.
if you people in the chat or the viewers don't know, this component is available on Ethan's Patreon, Matterform Inc. We can put the link also. I have the link somewhere.
Oh, you do? Okay.
And it's free, so you can just grab it. But yeah, Ethan has a lot of cool other things in his Patreon, so do check it out for sure.
There's more stuff coming. We're gonna do what do you call it? Mega scans, Quixel mega scans patch coming up soon.
Meaning like importing Quixel Megascan stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, cool.
Make it Unreal Engine.
Yeah, we're just gonna put Unreal inside of Dungeon Center at this point.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Houdini in there already. Thanks to you all.
You're right. Yeah, that's so funny. It's just
Yeah,
like
that was
putting
totally-
like a V12 in a Miata kind of scenario. Oh my gosh.
That's a great
And thanks so much for putting this on.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was gonna say I have to jump unfortunately, but
Yeah,
dude, thanks so much for doing this. It's so fun.
of course we should do this more. With more
Definitely.
people on, and like, yeah, just a little forum.
And more photorealistic food. I think that's the
Yeah.
solution.
Broccoli is next. I'm coming for you.
I love broccoli. That's great.
Well, else
Oh my god,
Yeah.
so good.
All right,
Oh,
Ethan.
man.
Thanks
Well,
for
if
coming.
you guys still going, I'll jump back in for sure. But peace,
Sure.
y'all. Good to see you.
Ciao, ciao. Okay, let's talk about now about we've had T3D, motion blur. We still haven't talked about the composition, but let's talk about the interactivity, which I have up here now. Why am I still zoomed in on this? Get your stuff together. What? Okay, so we have MediaPipe doing its thing, but what's really like cool here is how I'm controlling the chopsticks. To me, that was like the missing piece in all this, like in interactivity. I wanted the chopsticks for sure. Like that was on my wish list of and the to-dos, big to-dos of I want to aim my chopsticks in a proper way. And now everything is broken because I bypassed T3D. Okay, good. And POPX is where I was able to do this, that I have these chopsticks that are fixed to like a starting point, like one end is fixed, and I can aim the geometry. I can aim the tip of the chopsticks to where I want them to be aimed, which is controlled by MediaPipe. So just a quick rundown of the MediaPipe setup. I'm sure you've, like everybody who's here has worked with MediaPipe in some way or another. There's a lot of great tutorials from Torin and everybody else also on YouTube. But what I have here is hand tracking. I'm tracking the position of the fingers, like my two, like the middle and the index finger. And each of them are mapped to then the aim of these chopsticks. I also have an interaction where when I'm moving my fingers close together, a radial force is activated, and yeah, I can kind of slosh them around, and yeah, this is like the distance between the two fingers. Activate this radial force, and then my fingers go away, and the radial force is gone, and we're back to pushing them around with a little collision system in the particle system, which we will also look at. So yeah, that's a setup. The finger distance we get from the help function of then basically the chopstick midpoint distance is, what is this? Yeah, I just renamed everything. Okay, it's basically the distance between the two fingers. We get that from MediaPipe itself as a helper. So that's what's going on, and then some maths, and there's a little quick calibration tool that I did here for MediaPipe, where if I activate the calibrate, I can move my fingers around in my screen space, and it will look at the minimum and the maximum XY positions of the fingers. And when I turn this off, it recorded all that, and now where I was moving my fingers around, that's my active, like my interaction space basically, and it just rearranges from that minimum and the maximum to back to my 3D space of my render. So this is like a super simple setup, super simple and quick calibration. We have the XY of the two fingers. They go into a trail of 10 seconds. I'm analyzing the minimum and the maximum for each finger and each XY position. And then I'm just shuffling it and then taking the minimum from all these, the minimum X and Y from the two fingers, to basically denote the bottom left and the top right positions that I drew with my fingers. And there's a math somewhere here that just rearranges everything using those minimum and the maximum values. Yeah, I'm not gonna spend much more time on this. If you have the project file, you can take a look here. Just also small note, the MediaPipe docs is not included in the project file because it's super heavy in terms of file size. It would make the whole file hundreds of megabytes. So you can grab the docs separately from the GitHub of Torin, and then reference that in the MediaPipe docs here, instead of yeah, including it in the project file. And yeah, now we get back to POPX discussion. We have our chopsticks here. I modeled a chopstick just from a box, starting from a box. You can kind of how is it called, round the corners here. So that's how it starts. And then I'm looking up. I'm actually not using this, so let's skip that. I could have like a lookup of an S curve to, where is that? Why is it not doing anything? That's a function. To taper, kind of taper off the is it working? To taper off the ends of it. Okay, let's just, yeah, there we go. Here I could do like a tapering effect based on the Y position. So this kind of looks up and transforms it, like scales it back in on itself. But anyway, it's just a simple geometry, a chopstick. That then I have the transforms here, which just rotate them in different ways. And now we get into POPX. And Yuval, do you want to say something about POPX in a broad overview of the family? While
yeah,
I fix
sure.
it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yeah, perfect.
It's funny, like through all your talk about this project, I feel like a lot of stuff could be done with POPX, basically. But I think because I need to do more tutorials and like get people know more the tools. Yeah, so it's cool to see that, like in my head, wow, could be like with POPX as well. but it's also fun to work with just pops, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it could be cool to do like a cross pollination of things and recreate some of these things with POPX and
Yeah,
see.
essentially like POPX, it's pops basically.
Yeah.
It's just pops that are packed into more high level components. So for example, like the morphing that you did with the rice, with the states of the rice,
Yeah.
could be also done with one of the POPX, which is the apply attribute. So why are you getting this error
I
warning?
think I just don't
why.
have a export node. Ah, wait, that's like a weird TD thing. Stemming somehow from my toolkit. Yeah. Just
No worries.
weird shit. Yeah.
So yeah, for example, this apply attribute is like if you plug in, for example, a sphere and another sphere, which you can like change like the scaling of one sphere, for example, but you still need to have the same amount of points. That's for sure.
Okay, the frequency I have to
Between
keep the same.
Yeah, but you can change the scale, or maybe change
Translate it even.
something. Yeah, and then if you plug it in, the both of this, so you will get the second input. But if you apply a fall off to the first input, like after the first sphere, for example, a fall off as a weight, basically.
Yeah.
So for example, you can
I can just do a
put
point, like a point, or
no. Or you can put like a shape fall off for a POPX shape fall off, for example.
for the first input or for the second?
After the first input, just insert any kind of fall off, basically.
Okay,
So
fall off.
you will have
Which one? Shape fall off.
for example. Yeah, it's a very simple one. And then you will get the morphing basically between them. Now, if you move the shape, for example, this is like a linear shape. So you will basically morph between them, and you can see, you can go to the fall off tab
Off here?
and preview the fall off.
Uh-huh.
You can see like where we have like the gradient that shows you, okay, when we are white completely, so we're getting the second input shape, which is the smaller sphere that you translated. And when it's like 0, which is the blue color, you will get the first.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's like basically under the hood, it's doing the same that what you did with the math mix.
Yeah.
So it's already doing it basically based on the fall off, which is you could apply it based on the, I think it was the normalized age.
Yeah, exactly. So that could be
also you can take
instead of the POPX fall off, I would do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
And do you think this is more is it better on performance or like this is a simpler setup, but what I'm also wondering about is performance and whether like because what I kind of like what I experienced with POPX, maybe it's because I had the alpha version until now, is that like once you go from POPX back to POPs, not everything is retained and you have to do some extra steps, and like all these extra attributes.
That's the problem with, like, if you go POPX, so you better go like the whole system should be more POPX, completely POPX. But I'm working on more like better workflows to get like just put it inside the system with pops and everything else.
Yeah.
And also performance wise, for sure.
Yeah. So for those who don't know what POPX is, that we're talking about now, it's a family that Yuval has created. It's pop extension, or extended is what it stands for, I guess.
Extension, yeah.
Pop extension, yeah. And you can just drag and drop it into your project file. It installs by itself, and you get all these extra components, which basically they counter interact with pops and give you new features. I will quickly open also the, oops, not this, the example file, so we can have a quick look at what's possible. Yeah, you've been working on this also for quite a long time now, like also almost a year.
Yeah. I think since pops basically were introduced.
And these are mainly, or like mostly inspired by Houdini tools and Houdini standards, right?
Yeah. Yeah, even though I don't use Houdini, basically.
Yeah.
But
you
yeah,
take
it's
inspiration.
More inspiration.
I love this example with the fall-offs.
Yeah. I think one of the problems, like the limitation right now with POPX, which I'm working on, because you told me, so you like to work with particles basically.
Yeah.
So we have the particles, the particle pop, but the problem is that with particles you kind of like have basically you're kind of like you don't have a fixed number of points that you're working on, because it's changing based on the life attribute and stuff like this, which POPX doesn't really work like that, because POPX needs to know the exact amount of points and like the ID of each point. And with particle pop, it's kind of like changing all the time.
Yeah.
And this is also something that I'm working on to have it work with like this kind of setups.
Yeah. Because I was using, for example, what about your flow setup here? Where can I find the flow setup? Because this seems to be using particle pop in some way, because the particles live and die. So
yeah, but the simulations actually with POPX, the simulations are kind of like more standalone operators. They are not really related to other POPX operaters.
So you're not even using particle pop in
idea.
this one. This is just a feedback pop, and you have like a custom.
Yeah, it's
particle pop
custom
setup.
like yeah.
Okay, I see that. Yeah, because when I was playing around with for example the noise advection, I like what's going on here, but I would like to have the same.
You want them to have a life, basically.
Yeah, I want them to go back to where they started from and then repeat the same motion and stuff like that. So,
so actually, I have the new POPX has like an advect POPX, which also has like a life. You can enable like life cycle.
Okay.
But it's a bit different with the particle pop. So I'm thinking maybe to actually take the particle pop and create something with it with this that basically uses all the POPX attributes and stuff. Because mainly the POPX deals with transformation and if you want to rotate and transform copies of geometries, and with particles you mainly kind of like you build your particle system, and only at the end you kind of like instance them or use like the copy to points like you did.
Yeah.
So in POPX it's kind of like the reversed way. You instance a bunch of stuff, and then you can transform them. Which like TD users, like old TD users, doesn't really. It's a bit weird,
Yeah.
But
I think these steps are kind of necessary for like a larger adoption, like a more general adoption of POPX, because yeah, people already have their ways of working with pops, even though it's still pretty new. But like
Yeah.
that's gonna be like always the standard. That's where people will start from their ideas, and that's where they're gonna go back to. Or
For
tops, as Pekata is saying, like they might go back to tops, but yeah, once they
Yeah,
even though you could
I've been
solve
playing with tops for years.
even though
Yeah.
you could solve everything with POPX maybe that you're thinking of, you're gonna default back to just okay. I actually know
Yeah.
there's a default, like there's a pop that can already do that, and like yeah, when it comes to the particles, you're like yeah, it's just a particle thing, so I'm just gonna put it in a loop, and then
Yeah.
so yeah, and once
Yeah, but I think
face
like you can use like tiny stuff, sorry. Yeah.
I was
Like
just
you
saying,
use like a tiny snippet of POPX, which is nice also.
yeah, I mean that's what I'm doing here is also like I'm using it for like a very small, very specific but super useful like interaction that otherwise I wouldn't have had an idea how to do it, maybe with some GLSL for sure. But yeah, what's going on here with my finger, for example? So we have the incoming geometry, which I think I had to put it in an instancer first so that it is transformed into the POPX world.
Yeah.
Even though it's just a single point of instance.
Single point. Mhm.
Yeah.
But how did you like your distribution is right now a grid, so you did
Yeah,
like
but it's
some...
just a grid with a 1 1 1, so it's just 1 point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and then I have the aim, and the aim, I'm not sure how can I show the geometry also, because maybe I
Render primitive, yeah.
render primitives, but still it's not showing the geometry. Or yeah, sorry, it's just out of screen.
Yeah.
So we should be looking at it from this direction, kind of. Yeah, I think.
Mhm.
Or like this. Yeah, like this probably. Yeah. I'm also probably just misusing it a little bit. So I have the aim position, which is from the position of my fingers. I think this is right now my middle finger. And I have the up orientation as y equals 1, because that's how it's looking. It's looking up. And then am I doing something with the transform? I kind of like vibe did this in a way where I'm like, I just work with the parameters, and like maybe they don't really make much sense mathematically, but it just works for me.
Yeah.
But like this was something that I didn't
think-
know how to solve with just simple transformations of aiming to
Yeah.
a single point, and then having kind of a fixed end of it also, which right now is not really fixed.
Yeah, it doesn't look fixed.
Yeah. I wonder why it's not fixed. I mean, the geometry itself is also like offset, the incoming geometry. So that's
Yeah.
probably why it doesn't look fixed, because I have this offset. If I get rid of, should be this transform. Do I have a transform here? Yeah, I also have a translate here.
I mean, it depends on also like basically what you're doing with the aim. You're kind of like rotating it
Yeah.
to basically aim the the blue sphere over there, which is probably the MediaPipe position.
Yeah.
But I think your starting point, like when you're using the instancer, you're not like your pivot is somewhere else in its local orientation. And actually you can see this with like there's a POPX called visualize frame, which is really helpful to kind of like see the local orientation. You can plug it after the aim, maybe like connect the aim to the visualize frame, and basically you will see the local coordinates moving.
I see. I mean,
So
now
the
it's
p- you see
doing
the
what
pivot- the pivot.
what we more expect, right?
Yeah. Actually, I think it's it's now locked to
Yeah.
it's locked because
Yeah.
because you changed the transformation. I think you bypassed the transformation
Yeah. I
before
put
you
everything
insert.
back to the origin kind of. So the problem here
Yeah, so the
that
pivot.
that this solves for us is instead of, because what we really are doing here is just rotating it around the pivot point, but we don't have to do the kind of complicated maths of getting the rotation calculated from the position of where we want it to rotate. Because you could do this with like trigonometry somehow, like, okay, this is the XYZ, and then do some normal calculations and like do some trigonometry of, okay, you have to rotate the thing by this many degrees for it to aim there. So you could do this with like traditional operators, let's say. But with the aim, this then becomes like a super simple, okay, I just want to aim it to this position, and then it's doing all the other calculations for us, right? Like that's really what this is solving.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then I think I'm doing the offset kind of stuff because I mean, right now it's also just in the middle of the frame, kind of.
Yeah.
So actually my
So
pivot
you can maybe offset them after you aim
afterwards,
it, basically.
but then if I offset it after I aim it, it's not gonna aim like this is gonna be off, right? Like right now it's in doing it in the correct position, but let's say, can I do a normal, usual pop transform? I have a transform modifier here.
You can do it also with but you need to unpack it to actual geometry.
Yeah. So now I offset it afterwards, but my force is still pointing here, right? So I need to also offset my force with the same amount, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, this is also cool.
You can also change the pivot. Basically, you can not like do the transformation before, like you did, to offset it with the transform 6, and you have a pivot POPX that you can kind of like change the pivot.
Yeah.
Like before the aim.
Before the aim, yeah.
You can, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it will basically be aligned to where you want.
But this is also kind
because
of
the transform 6 is basically doing all the pre-transformation kind of,
Oh wait, this transform 6 is just rotating the geometry actually around itself.
Oh, okay.
This
so
one
this one was like,
yeah, it's offsetting it in the depth basically. Yeah, I don't know how it looks now. This is archery, is what Pakata is saying. Yeah, kind of have to. Oh, now everything is gone. Shit.
maybe okay. I think you played with the POPX transform.
Yeah,
before.
I also did that. Yeah. Big undo.
Yeah, but in short, there's like the pivot POPX that you can kind of like change the pivot of the rotation. So you can first like locate, put your stickers where you want the sticks, and then with the aim that you want to rotate them towards the, the MediaPipe, you can use the pivot to kind of like offset this.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe this would also be like a good tutorial idea for you to.
Yeah, I need to do a lot of tutorials basically.
And I think it's also good to get them to ground it in a way. Like the chopsticks, I think, are like a pretty good visualizer. I'm not sure why they are not gone from my render, but they are like a good visualizer in terms of like people will understand aim a bit more, like with chopsticks, I think, in some ways. Why did I lose now everything?
Yeah.
Now I lost like the whole geometry and everything. What's going on? have it here.
Maybe
I don't know what
You have
went wrong, because I have the interaction with MediaPipe, but somehow they're not
Control
rendering.
Z.
Yeah, that's what I did, and then that's what broke it actually. That I Control Z it too much. But yeah, I think we kind of got the point across with the aim. Yeah. Now we don't have the chopsticks, unfortunately. Cool. Yeah. Thanks for the input. I think it's really great. Like getting more of these packaged, like high level operators into POPs that solve a lot of issues that people are thinking about, like the SPH, and obviously the soft bodies is something that I think a lot of people do really want in touch, soft body simulation. That's a big, and the path tracer, obviously, like is it gonna break my thing here?
Probably.
Yeah, okay. I'm not gonna do it now. Yeah. Cool. We have to move on a little bit because it's now getting also late. Thanks for
Thank you for the
jumping in.
For the opportunity.
Of course, and also I have to say, in regards to POPX and T3D and all that, we have been working with Lyle on a way to unify all the extra families. So because right now there's a small issue when it comes to using both T3D and POPX. I mean, they work together sometimes and sometimes not. There's a certain order of installation you have to do. So that's kind of one thing that kind of breaks, and there's other small things where they are not fully unified. For example, when it comes to stubbing, UL has added a little bit more features into his stubbing. And
well, it's basically Lyle's implementation.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, exactly. Yeah, this came from then Lopes and then Lyle, and then this
Right,
is an orgy of collaboration. this operator family.
It's been how do you call it? Or it's like where you play the game of like paper telephone or something, where you just say something into someone's ear and then they say it into the next person. It's bounced between from Joseph to me to Yuval, but now with this unified structure, which is I mean, Dan, you're about to say all this probably, or some of this, but unifies like the idea of like the state of what is in this project, what's available for the create dialogue to place, and these things are just like more unified, and there's a lot of opportunities that this could lead to in the future, but for now it's defining these families in a unified way. And we're just basically at this point refining the whole API and like try to make it user friendly and dev and super dev friendly as well.
And also trying to think about like future changes, and also supporting everything that has been done by all these family owners, which I sometimes call daddies, the TD daddies. And mommies. There's yet to be a TD mommy creating an operator family. But there's a lot of things that each of these developers on their own thought about and was like, we should do that, we should do this. But going forward, we need to think about how can these things live together and also support the already existing things. So that's kind of what we are doing with Lyle. And for example, just a quick sneak peek here is like, instead of having a T3D or like a POPX button up here, which we have here, and currently what's also the kind of one small issue is that they override each other, so you don't see the POPX button here, you see the T3D one, and this is how I initially jumped in on this project, to be like, okay, like we need just one unified fam button, and then all the new families just show up here as the new families. Quickly gonna create a fab family, install that, and now we have two families here and they can live in peace, and they have some things that they share, like the stubbing. And this is what I wanted to also kind of say next, that the project file that is on Patreon now, it has stubbed operators, which means to really use POPX or T3D with this project file, what you get on Patreon is you don't get the operators of POPX or T3D, you get the shell of the operator, kind of, let's say, like the very basics, the name of the operator and like what kind of operator it is. And then once you load T3D or POPX, you can, for POPX, use the stubs page and replace stubs, and that will repopulate all the shelves of the POPX. And with T3D, you create and regenerate T3Ds, and that will do the same. So this is to ensure that creators and collaborators can still share project files between each other that have POPX and T3D and all the other families, because they are Patreon exclusive or whatever. But if the receiving end or the other party also has the same family in their possession, then they can just regenerate the project file to its full form. So yeah, this is something also we have been refining with Lyle, and have some ideas of retaining some parameters, or like deciding what parameter gets retained between stubs and updates. And there's a lot of intricacies that come into play in this whole. I mean, I'm really enjoying the process, to be honest. Lyle, I don't know about you, but this is like a super structured
No, it's been really good.
That's we're doing. Like,
I mean, we've been working on it for like probably 2 months, but like kind of on and off consistently, in a way that like we come back and we have like a long call talking back and forth, and we just talk through like a bunch of different edge cases. But there's already like a sample size for like how people might use this with the currently existing families, which has been really nice to just like bounce ideas off of. But like also it's been very fun, just Dan and I just like imagining in a year, oh, what if this person does this, and how to try to like fix future compatibility. I mean, who knows? Maybe hopefully we're designing it in the right way, but I'm feeling really good about it. There's also a fun feature for just totally user facing, which is you can just drop it in and link it to a folder and create like a favorites talks. So then it's just a folder on your disk, and every talks file that's in that will be shown in that family tab. So
this is what's going on here. So like on the cook bar, get sharp, and like search palette, these live in this folder called fav operators. And
so we finally get the palette in the pop-up menu.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's
you could just not even restructure your stuff. You probably could just drop it in and link it to a palette. I mean, not probably, you could.
Actually, let's do that.
This is great.
Because
I mean, canceling what they're meeting for.
Let's see.
If it's in like inside subfolders, so
yeah, that was my question.
Another question. It's another thing we could consider supporting.
Okay, here's my
if
shit.
you use subfolders as categories, it could be cool.
Maybe the level of like.
That's a really easy translation area.
Search.
There you go.
Subfolders as categories, so you can define that structure super easily. I'll start using this tomorrow.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just added one of my palette folders, and I can just place my palette stuff in there. I can also search. So yeah, that's pretty great. And yeah, the subfolders as categories, that's something we've been considering, I think.
Yeah,
for a while.
That's been flagged. I think, I just have to change how we're handling the category name. Because right now it's only defined in that table structure.
There's also some offset, by the way, that I'm now seeing. Like, I don't know why, but I'm clicking on I'm clicking on swap OPs, and it's doing this lock editor kill thing. But
is that like one offset, or is that offset by the column?
It's offset by the column. Yeah.
Oh, that's wacky.
That's interesting.
I mean, that's yeah.
But then I actually click on
One
that
of
and okay. Yeah, I also just wanted to show like our GitHub issues page a little bit for people to gaze their eyes upon. Because yeah, we went into like project management mode so we lie a little bit. Because obviously if you're collaborating on something, you need to kind of track who chose that green bucket, I was asking. Yeah, I think that was pretty random for this test family.
Yeah, you can choose any color you want.
Yeah. It's although this is also something I realize now that okay, whoops, change it, and it's actually not updating the family itself. But it's fine.
Oh yeah, that's been fixed somewhere.
Yeah, I just wanted to show like yeah, we have all these issues. Currently we have 28 closed and 31 open issues. And we have some labels of like, is it a bug, is it an enhancement, is it priority, kind of, is it a low prio? And then we also have a project board where we try to organize all the tickets into a bit more, yeah, a little bit more of like, okay, this is like the general to-do list of these are the maybe the most prior ones that we need to be working on or that we have in our minds. These are the in
Does the
progress.
AI do it for you? Or it's you're writing all of this.
It's all
This
manual.
is kind of like, yeah, we're going back and forth on a call and talking through and then adding issues kind of on our own.
Yeah.
When we were first setting it up, I was thinking about like you can program it like with the Git CLI. I was like, oh, I could ask Claude to just like throw an issue about that. But I actually like I use Claude for most of my coding. But I haven't actually ever felt the need to do that. Opening the UI and just typing it myself is just kind of what I've done.
Yeah, I think
But that could be an option. Like it knows the project and stuff.
maybe from Claude, yeah, like not even from the Git commits or anything, because it's yeah, you're just talking about. I mean, what would be even better is like just translating or transcribing what we're talking about real time. And it's like, hey, I don't know, Gemini or Claude, let's add a ticket that does this and that, and then I think that would be the the ultimate way of doing that, because it's not gonna know what issues we need to add or we're talking about just based on the code base. I don't think so. It needs to be like much more involved process. And by the time that you type into an LLM like, hey, we want to work on an issue like this and that, you can just do it manually. Also in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we have this in progress column, which is kind of our second backlog now, because right now we are working towards an alpha release where we also make it public and then give it out for testing to Yuval, Joseph, and anybody who wants. And Kyle, Prismatic Visuals, was also thinking about creating a new family. So we're working towards our alpha release, and these are the most pressing issues that we need to talk about and do. So yeah, I really love working in this structured manner, because otherwise a project of this size just gets out of hand very quickly, and you don't know what the other person is doing or what they're supposed to be doing, and it's just gonna fall apart. So yeah, good new thing to add to our bucket, or like our belt. Yeah. All right, gonna wrap up soon. So I mean, yeah, it's getting a bit late and I'm getting tired also, but it's super fun. But I need to finish talking about this. So we stopped at the composition. So we have all the different render passes and the scenes and the background and T3D and all that. And now our job is to essentially composite them together so that they become something greater than the parts. And for example, I was talking earlier about how I want to cross between two materials, and that's not a thing. There's not a cross matte or anything like that. There's a switch matte, but that doesn't have a blend option. So the closest thing that I could think about was, yeah, just having a matte. And this is from the attributes. So each grain of rice has an attribute of cooked, which is based on their life cycle also. And when they are white, they are fully cooked. When they are black, they are uncooked. And the mat is basically crossing between those two render passes.
That's really clever, man. Like I haven't. This is something that I thought about, like
yeah.
basically morphing between material, but like this is a really nice implementation of this.
Yeah, it's great for like, yeah, it's still kind of like a crossfade, not like a real material blending. I don't know how they do it in Unreal, because I
Yeah.
think in Unreal there's like, it's a bit more sophisticated, where they probably interpolate between the parameters of the materials and stuff like that.
You can actually do this also, like in your technique. Like my head is now thinking about it, and there is a kind of a way. I think maybe we can talk about it later.
With the GLSL mat.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You can
Sure, go
basically output like with like output buffers, like you spoke about it before, about outputting like different different buffers, so you can basically output any material parameter as render, like as a basically a map.
Yeah.
For example, like roughness or metallic or
yeah, right.
and then use the mat to kind of like blend them or whatever. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. We should explore this more.
There's a forum post I'll dig up and send to you also about blending between materials using different depth layers and instance-specific attributes.
Nice. Yeah, send it on the Discord channel, if you find it. Yeah. So after doing this kind of matte blending, I have also the shadows here, which I'm actually not really interested in right now. But yeah, what really happens here is taking the base layer, the base color layer, and then adding onto it the specular pass. So that's how we get this extra little shininess, moisture added to our rice. And then we have the shadow pass that is added to it. There's a strength of the shadow that we can change. By the way, if you're using my toolkit, which you should be using, if you middle click on any of the parents, it opens up the parent editor. And if you long click on the parent, it opens up the component editor with a middle mouse button. Just a small trick that I think would be nice to have in there by default. But yeah, with this shadow strength, I have a little bit more control over my shadows. I could also blur the shadows and do other things with it. It was just a more convenient way of adding the shadow into the whole scene, especially that it's a multi-render pass, so it would have been a bit tricky if I included the shadows in the renders themselves. And then I think this is T3D. With T3D, I disabled it now, but it's taking that and doing an over. So basically, in between there would be the steam. And it's just putting the steam where there wasn't anything before. I think this could also be improved in some ways with a different operation or a different way of render passing the T3D, but for now it was fine. And then I have the environment, which is just the background, a little bit blurred, a little bit playing around with levels, and that's just gonna go behind the whole scene. And then comes the Swaggy Bouquet, which we haven't talked about yet. This component, this has been on GitHub for 10 years now, I think, or 9 years. It hasn't changed anything, and it's still working. So this is like pretty amazing from Ovo Studio, from France. Had the pleasure of working with them on a project also. So yeah, this is 9 years ago, and you take these stocks. It's still talking about TD88. but you still get the stocks and it's still working.
It's incredible.
That's really like, especially that there were some GLSL changes along the way, which broke a lot of shaders, I think, in people's palettes and stuff. At least in mine, for sure. So yeah, this is just still there, and it's an amazing tool to create depth of field. It has also, I can show here. I can show like a visualizer of like a debug view of everything that we're gonna take a look at here. Yes. So if I click on show focus, it's gonna show me my focus area, which is currently where this red line is. And it's gonna do a depth of field before and after that focus line. Also, you can change the focal depth. So that's gonna change where this red line kind of falls. And the circle of confusion, which is the width of this focus line, basically. It's also like a great little visualizer, super simple, gets the point across. There's a lot of options here also that we can play with to make it more artistic, highlighting where the the highlights we can gain separately, and do more rings of this makes it more soft, and shows more the depth of field effect. Super amazing tool. I haven't been using it before this. I had like a different depth of field that I got from GitHub. It was much more complicated to set up. This has a super easy setting from the camera comp, but also you can do manual depth of field, which if you want to get more granular with your setup, you can also do that. And then the focus here will help you with determining what you should be doing. I think like a separate tutorial on this tool is also kind of warranted, because a lot of people are looking for this, but not a lot of people know about it. So I think I will cover it separately also. The depth of field and the motion blur really give it like the final touch of like photoic realism, meaning like as if it might have been shot in a photo studio or something. And then really to do the final touch of the post effects is the rainy window look. So I've had this off until now, but we have these beautiful little steam and like steam like forming into a droplet and that going down on the lens of the camera kind of look. And it has the reflections of the scene also around, and I'm very proud of how this looks, because what I had in front of my eyes is like when you're traveling on a train or something, or in a car. I was always, I'm sure a lot of people just like to look at the droplets, just what they're doing and how their physics is. And it was kind of inspired by that. So what's going on here? No collision packet actually. I think that would be nice to have collision added to this. Here the collision is kind of faked in a way, which we will see it in a second. But basically what I have here is a particle system that's just gonna, they have a velocity. Where it is? I think they have an initial velocity, or they should have maybe somewhere else. But they start off slow, and then they start, and then they as they go older, they fall more quickly. There's also noise to their Y offset, so that sometimes they get stuck a little bit on the window, and then they start going down again, and that's because of the high exponent of the noise. Bucket is saying it was searching for ellipsoid collision minutes before. Okay, I don't know what it is, but I think we probably need that for this. maybe we can talk about it. Would be like a nice use case, probably, to collide these particles and make them grow. Because also what needs to happen if these particles collide, they need to grow also in their size and kind of morph into each other. But that's essentially what is happening here. Is just is a simple particle system with a specific movement. What's also I have here is a droplet shape, so this is what gets copied to these particle points. And what's also happening is as they get older, you can kind of see here, they get longer and thinner, and that's kind of what's happening on the window. So as they travel down, they deposit some of their content onto the screen, and then they get thinner and longer and all that. So I was trying to emulate that with some scaling based on the age. And then what we get in the end is something we cannot really see here. Maybe it's better like this, yeah. What we get at the end, I also have merged in just some static small droplets, as like these are the steam droplets that just stay in place and come and go. So they are going to be smaller and they don't move. And then I'm instancing, well, I'm texturing them with a UV. It's also a 16-bit render, so we have negative values. So this is just a simple UV that gets mapped onto them. So this is what we get now. And from here, I'm doing some kind of artistic choices and something that actually makes them look even more realistic. It's like a feedback displays to make them leave a trail and have a little turbulence that they leave after as they go down. And then I'm also using the motion blur, and this is where they get like this is where they get their transparency, and also where they merge, kind of. It's very funny how this works with the motion blur. This is like totally just misusing the motion blur, and yeah, as you can see here, it's kind of wacky how it looks. But in the end, it's gonna really create a great effect. Come on, I want to drop in the middle. Yeah, there we go. And also now, because I'm using a lot of downsampling, in this case, when two droplets are close to each other, they kind of merge in a way with the motion blur, as you can see it here also happening. So it's a very neat side effect of everything kind of working together magically here, you see. Because then we have the UVs mapped onto them, and we can do displays, and that's what's happening here. In comes these droplets with the UVs, and then in comes the color, and you do the displays, and this is kind of the raw look. Yeah, this is already pretty convincing to me. I was looking at some shaders on Shader Toy, but I was like, in the end it's just displacement in a way, so I can kind of fake it. And I also like the glitchy nature of them, that they kind of glitch out and they have the life of their own, that I didn't like put in there, thanks to the motion blur and all that. And yeah, we have the displays. I want the droplets separately, so I do a matte with the input alpha here and the image, so I get back only the displaced part. And I do like a little blurring, so it becomes more out of focus. A little bit of bloom, so we have concentrated light, as in like a prism would do. And Bob's your uncle. We have this. There's also the test version of this, so this is just how it would look like with spheres. So what's also happening here is if I put a rectangle. Just a rectangle. Oh, we don't need a plume. Hey Jake. My pleasure. This has been a super fun project to learn new things. So yeah, this is kind of the test version, and this is also like a pretty cool look, by the way. Like I really like this. What's going on here? But as you can see, it's happening. What's happening in real time? That these droplets invert the world. So as we go to the right, they also get more to the right, and as we go left, they also get more to the left. I think that's what's happening, and also some weirdness. Obviously, this is not physically accurate. It's just getting the best in a quick way out of the situation. But yeah, like I wanted to show like some artistic uses of this, which also kind of take us back to Pakata's glass window UV math tutorial from back in the day, because in the end we're also just doing some UV things here, and with the field here I can play around with. Where is it? Why is it not doing the thing? Or like with the point transform on here, you can do like nice transitions around and this kind of stuff. Kind of fun. Now I'm a bit lost in the project file. Why is this doing? Oh. Okay.
Hope you saved it before.
No, I think it's back now. Cool. Yeah. I'm gonna do a separate tutorial on this rainy window look, because I think it's very fun, and it's very, like, the result is really something I'm proud of, where I'm like, huh, you can customize this even more and like get more out of it. And that's actually the end of the chain. I have some film grain added to it, look at the little noise, and that's really the end of it. Did I not talk about something? Yeah, all the lights. Oh yeah, I didn't talk about the lights. Lights is a big part of all this. How you place the lights, where you place them, how much fall off you give the lights, and this is where we can see all the lights happening. I think I put around 5 or 4 lights with different fall offs, which you can see on the circles. Yeah, this is like very much the artistic part of it also, like how do you do the lighting of everything, how much bloom you add to it in the end, where do the shadows come from, and all that is adding into the pile. So yeah, a lot goes into, as Jake was saying, there's a lot of attention to detail when you want to make things look a bit more realistic and not your standard touch designer look. Although, like, you know, like this is not something like ultra spectacular in a way where it's like, oh, it's like so realistic, but it's still one step above the default look with all the extra ingredients. Okay, yeah, you can get the project file and dissect it for yourself. Get POPX and T3D also to work with the interactivity and the Steam and all that. And yeah, I mean, thanks guys for sticking around. Also, Lake and Ethan and Torin for joining earlier. And yeah, it's been really fun to talk about not only the project but also things around it and adjacent to it. So yeah, I think we should do this more often. Like, you know, like would be great, for example, with Pops or Lops, to have a similar deal where you bring a project, you show what you did, people can chime in and ask questions, and yeah, learn from each other and stuff like that. And yeah, Pakata, you should also do the same. Like, yeah, we're now focused on on pops, but there's still much strength in tops. And yeah, thanks also for sticking around.
Everything under the hood, it stops basically.
Yeah,
I believe so.
for sure. The GPU is just tops anyway.
Thank you so much, Dan. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
And the project, probably I need to get into the project file to see, to see the stuff and play around with it.
Yeah, just replace
Maybe turn it into something else.
Just replace a lot of stuff with POPX and show
Yeah,
us like
actually,
how you can
be
transform
nice.
and enhance some of these things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Would be nice to do this.
next time we will have Pekata also on the voice chat. Although like the voice chat was always open, but yeah, next time we're gonna chat also because yeah, I haven't seen Pekata Aurelian in a while. We need to talk. All right, guys. Yeah, thanks a lot again. It was a pleasure spending this time with you.
Yeah. No, it's super great. Let's do it. Let's do it more. Exactly like you're saying. Can bounce around the stream hosting and just yeah, make it crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Sweet. I'm gonna close it out with a jam. Feel free to leave whenever you want. I still have some music playing in the background that I started doing.
Bye. See you guys.
Ciao, ciao.
I'm going to bed.
Yeah. Talk soon. Peace.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm gonna also put the link of the Patreon. Share it with your friends and family. Whoever you would like. Any support is welcome. And yeah, hit me up if you have any ideas, collaboration ideas, or just want to talk. I'm always game for nerding on Touch Designer, as you saw here. So yeah, let's do that more often. And I'm playing the music. Am I playing the music? Wait, have I had the music in the background the whole time?
Yeah, it wasn't that loud though, but on the YouTube stream it was playing.
Okay. I actually didn't realize. So that's
I think when you were talking about background noise, I kind of thought maybe you were talking about that, but then
no.
I was like, oh, maybe you're playing the music to cover the background noise.
No, I
think people, yeah.
I thought I'd turn it off, so I hope it wasn't too loud in the background. Like people didn't comment about it. So. And it's also funny because it's just something that I played in the beginning of the stream, and it's just been playing on a loop and like, yeah, doing its thing.
So I guess it's a good loop then. It hasn't caused any complaints.
There's the strength of these pedals. They just do their own thing. The Chase Bliss pedals, they're amazing. Thanks, guys. Thanks for sticking around. Bye bye. Thanks everybody. Good night. See you again soon. Hopefully.